September 9th, 2020. Anthony's back in the saddle. How's your day yesterday?
I'm back in the saddle.
Let's do it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. I, of course, am Glenn Hausman here with the one and only the incredible Anthony Melchiori, who may have been a little MIA yesterday, but is back today joining us. Anthony, I know you were dealing with some more college-related stuff with one of your daughters, but it is great to see you back here. I don't know how we managed to survive yesterday, but we got through it somehow.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how you survived without me. But today I have, I'm going to be talking to one of my favorite people today.
You are going to be talking about one of your favorite people today. But before we do that, I want to just say, hey,
you didn't take it. You were going to say, and you were going to say her name, and I was going to say, no, Glenn Hausman. You didn't take it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, goodness.
All right, but we got something exciting we're doing next week. So
we sure do. All right. So for those of you who were watching yesterday, you heard our takeover host, Chris. He asked me a specific question. What was the most interesting thing that you've seen post-COVID when it comes to some of the products that are being rolled out for hospitality? And I coyly said, I can't share it yet. But on September 16th at 2 p.m., we're doing a very special show. And we want you to register for that right now because Cirque Plus is going to be introducing a breakthrough touchless sterilization innovation that's going to open the doors to hope and recovery for hospitality. Anthony, we can't talk about the specifics of it, but I know I was impressed when I first saw it.
Well, I tell you, it's not only hospitality, but it's going to hopefully help schools and commercial properties and restaurants. And it's something I haven't seen before. And it's something that's so, I don't like complex. I don't like things that are complicated. The simplicity of this product is amazing, and again, I think everybody knows me. I wouldn't put my name on it if I didn't believe in it. And how excited was I when you guys showed it to me last week? Literally,
oh my goodness, really super excited. Like I've never seen this guy more excited. Well, except that one time when I promised I would host a show with him. But other than that.
That's true. But Sarah, I can see Sarah's little smile.
All right. We have our guest behind the scenes. But before we bring her in, we got to show this video so you guys can understand why you need to go to circplus.com/clean right now and sign up to get access to this very special event free at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, September 16th. Producer David, if you could bring up that video and show it right now, we'd be greatly appreciative.
And where? Thank you, Dave.
All right. Wow. that was inspiring. I know I was touched, and knowing what the solution is, but I can't share it with you. You guys are going to love it. I absolutely encourage you. Please take a moment right now. Go to circplus.com/clean. The address is right there on the bottom of the screen, and register for that special event.
Well, that was the biggest tease in the history of mankind. I mean, I think that music in the beginning was so kind of like just getting you kind of concerned, and then all of a sudden that faster music, it got me all chills. And but I'll tell you something, that was probably the most teasable video I've ever seen in my life. That's the first time I've seen the whole video, and that really makes me wonder. But I've seen the product, and again, I'm looking forward to showing the world on the 16th. And
you're already getting calls on
and not taking my call from my friend Leo Rossi. Hey, Leo, you're live on my podcast. I'll call you back.
What's really funny is everybody I know knows that I'm on the air at 12 o'clock every day, but people call me almost every single day at like 12.
Well, Leo Rossi, I want everybody to look up Leo Rossi on the internet. IMDb him. He's been in 106 movies, and he is my best friend, and he's an amazing person. And so he's the only person outside of my family I would take, because he is family. But anyway, so this product is amazing. It's simple, it's affordable, and it's going to hopefully help restaurants open up. And you know what? It's not a COVID machine to me. Like, it's not because of COVID. It's what we should have been doing before. And I'm really being careful, because I know I get.
Yeah, you be very careful.
All right, we should have things that we should have been doing, and the way we should have went about business to begin with, and hopefully when COVID is a memory, something that we'll always be using. So
that's right.
So let me give you the details of the product and show you.
All right, I'll give you the one last detail. Remember, go to circplus.com/clean. Sign up right now. All right, let's get into our proper show. I do want to tell everybody, Anthony, I'm going to go to a one-shot real quick. Today, I am not coming for today from the Commons Club at the Nashville Virgin Hotel. Beautiful location. The hotel just opened up this summer, and I'm looking forward to having a chance to be there in person myself one day to see this great work of hospitality art that's come to life very recently. Anthony, I got to tell you, we started something new here in your absence, but you're aware of it. Every single day, we're going to be doing a different backdrop for me, featuring some of the best hotels around the world. So if you out there, the listeners, want your hotel to be featured, drop me a line, Glenn, Glenn, at rouse.media, rouse.media, and your hotel could be featured right behind me on a show in the future. What do you say about that? That's pretty cool hotel, right?
We don't even charge them for it? Oh, wow, that's great.
But that's a good idea. Once this takes off, we'll start charging them for it. We got to start making money out of this thing at some point.
I'm going to take I'm never taking the background away, because then you won't see my beautiful tie. I haven't worn this tie in 10 years, and I'm realizing I really like it. It's become one of my favorite ties now. But I got down to, we do it in 6 months. I haven't worn the same tie in 6 months. So I'm getting down to nitty gritty, and so this is in the back of my closet, and I was like, wow, why is this in the back of my closet? I like this one.
Well, if you'd like, I could lend you some of my super skinny ties I have from the 1980s that I haven't worn in 40 years.
Oh, just so you know, not everybody knows who Fish is, because I asked somebody, you know Fish, right? And they're like, I have no idea who Fish is. It's like, oh my God, don't tell that to Glenn.
Oh, they're the biggest band nobody's ever heard of, but that's okay. I want to keep it to myself. It was hard enough getting tickets as it was back in the day. When everyone comes back to life, it'll be even harder. All right.
If we could do something, what I'd like to do is, before we bring on our friend, are you showing her background first, and then I want to say for some words, and then can we bring her on? Are we going to put the slide up first?
We could ask her to hide under her desk.
Oh, no, just the slide. I'm saying, don't we have the slide? Don't we have the
slide? That slide. I know what you're talking about. Her curriculum vitae. Sorry. Bring it on up. Boom. Sarah Dandashy. She's going to be our guest today. Tell me about Sarah.
Well, first of all, if you're named best hotel concierge in the world, that's saying something. I mean, concierges are true entrepreneurs, and everybody knows me, knows I love concierges, and I love because they're entrepreneurs, they're business people, and they're the only people you really can't control in the hotel. We try to control them. We try to kind of manage them, but you really can't. If you're a good concierge, you don't let the general manager or your team manage you. You pretend, you say yes, 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 then you roll your eyes behind their back, and you go, and then you turn the hotel upside down to get the guests what they need. And you try to do it on a very, very, very small budget so nobody notices. So that's what they do. They're magicians. But she was just telling us a story in the green room, and she only told me because we're friends. And because I said, hey, what's going on? And she says, hey, I'm a free agent, because now she's got her own company as a concierge, but she was also still working as a concierge in LA, and she was on sabbatical, on furlough, like most people were. And little fits and starts. Can you come in? We don't need you to come in anyway. She goes, I'll come in as long as everybody else is working, and then you can bring me on. And they were like, really? So yeah. So other people were working, and she had seniority, so she did not come back. And then they say, hey, we need you in a couple of days, but just to let you know, it's time for you to come back, but we are going to have to let somebody go because we can't afford to bring you both on. And she said, leave that person employed. Don't take anybody off to give me a job. I'm good. And I guess this is my jumping off point. And I can't be more proud of her, because I've watched her for several years working really, really hard on her company. And like I was saying to you off screen or off camera, she rolled under the garage before the garage closed, right? Yeah. Like, things were being wiped away because of this pandemic. And she really worked her way up to a position where she's able to make that move. And maybe she wouldn't have made it right away, like completely not be a concierge right now. But I think the timing's perfect. And like I said, I couldn't be more proud of her.
Excellent. Well, let's bring her in, shall we? Here she comes. Sarah Dandashy, welcome to the show. Pressure's on. I haven't heard such effusiveness about somebody from Anthony Melchiorri in quite some time. I'd be a little nervous if I were you. Welcome. So great to see you.
Thank you for having me. I mean, Anthony, we did have a talk before this, so we had to make sure that I obviously came in with quite a bang. So thank you, Anthony.
No. I asked you if I can share that story, and you said I haven't shared it with anybody. So can I share it? You said
that is true. This is actually, you have officially announced it to the world.
Right. And there's two things I want to ask you, or actually one remind you of, and one ask you. One, did I or did I not beat you in a plank off at the Peninsula Hotel in my suit?
You did beat me.
After traveling around the world and taking a flight to do your podcast, when I was flying wherever the hell I was flying to, and exhausted, not sleeping for 24 hours, beat you in the plank off. Have I done that, yes or not?
Should I also remind everybody that you actually had flown in from Vegas, and it was the first time that you actually missed a flight?
What? Oh, that's right. I did miss a flight. That's right. I did miss a flight because
Booker was hot.
No, I was probably at a table, but this 50-year-old beat her at the plank, or at the time 50, now 55.
No.
Was it 5 years ago, or how long ago?
It was like 3 years ago.
3 years ago. And number two, and Glenn, I want to ask you about this. Matter of fact, maybe we should take Sarah out for this. Let's take Sarah out for this. I wanted to hear this.
You're Italian. When you say take somebody out, it has a very different connotation.
No. Take somebody out to mean that in Italian. Say, that person, we're not going to see them anymore, right?
Right. Jeez, I got scared just hearing that.
Right? I said that good, didn't I? We're not going to see her anymore. No, but so is it true that you're making a weekly appearance on somebody else's podcast, bringing updates and travel news?
Me? Are you asking me? Yes, I was asked. I did one earlier today.
And whose podcast is this?
Rupesh Patel.
She's making a starring appearance every week on Rupesh's podcast.
Oh my goodness! It just came together for me. He announced that last week, and Sarah, I didn't know you, and I didn't even realize you were going to be on this show. Now it's all coming together.
Am I off the show now? Are you done with me?
No, but now
we're going to trade you in for Root.
No, if I would have thought it, I would have said, "Hey, can you make a weekly appearance, but now I can't do that because that wouldn't be fair to Rupesh. But good job, my friend. You picked a good one, and she's amazing.
That's why we're going to have her on twice every week.
Perfect. All right.
Right.
Yeah, great move, Rupesh Patel. Go check out his stuff. What is it? Wednesdays, 9:30 a.m. on LinkedIn.
That's right. It is.
All right. Excellent.
So that means you have to get up at 6:30 California time?
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't do that to you.
Right. You just got to get up before that because, you don't just roll out of bed and go online.
It's all good. Fine. And then my day's like, I'm good to go for the day. I have my hair done, my makeup done, and then it's like only 7 a.m.
Yeah. I did my hair. I did my hair. I did.
It looks very nice.
Actually, I didn't do my hair. I didn't look.
All right. So, Sarah, Concierge of the Year. What an absolute incredible honor that is. How do you even achieve a goal?
I was just going to say some stuff like my team. It's not me, and it's the hotel.
No. I want to. We're talking today about you. We're talking about your career arc, not all the amazing people that have helped you get to where you are, because we all have that in our lives. Yeah. But what is it about you that you were able to achieve that got you such a prestigious honor?
Well, it was a combination of things. So to give you guys an idea as far as what that even meant, in the concierge profession, there is a professional organization of hotel concierge called Les Clés d'Or. Generally, you would see Les Clés d'Or concierge at higher end establishments, 4-star, 5-star hotels. You know them because they wear gold keys on their lapels. Mm-hmm. I am part of that organization. And several years ago, just as it's sort of an aging profession, they were trying to encourage younger generation of concierge. So they started this sort of, you could almost call it like the Concierge Olympics. I sometimes like to call it like the Miss Universe of concierge, but guys were involved. Hey,
there's a Mr. Universe, and I remember Arnold won that a few times.
This is
early 80s, late 70s.
A little bit of a different requirements for that, but yes, you are correct.
Well, there's a whole lot of oil in both of them, I think.
So in regards to that, I ended up participating. And so every country that ends up going to these international conferences, they call them congresses, every country will then put forward somebody to represent them. So I was representing the USA, and that particular year, we happened to have a conference.
Could you tell them to change the name from Congress? Because you guys actually get things done.
Well, yes, arguably.
Sorry.
No, you're right. You're right. So I ended up representing the U.S. We had a series of tests, interviews, and all of that to really kind of tap into our resourcefulness, and then also tap into, they would ask us questions that really you would only know if you used your community, the concierge community as well too. But I think, I know definitely the kicker, what really kind of set me apart at that particular time, and it was really sort of perfect time, right place, right time. Also, that year, Grand Budapest Hotel was out and it was up for an Oscar. I happen to live in Los Angeles. I live in Hollywood. Grand Budapest Hotel, next thing you know, they want to do a screening at my hotel.
Cool.
So I get in touch with Fox, Searchlight, their PR team. I'm like, hey, I can do a social media promotion for you and get real concierge to support the movie. What do you think? And they were like, yeah, for free? Who is this girl? Sure. So next thing you know, I ended up getting all these concierge from around the world to help basically support the movie, because the movie was about concierge and they had referred to golden keys within the movie. Mm-hmm. So by the time I ended up going to this conference, I had already virtually met all of these concierge, shared their pictures, and already started this whole establishment, this like relationship. So I got there and people were like, yay, you're the girl that like helped get us on social media type thing. So it was really kind of a perfect timing, and it was not planned. It just was right place, right time, and just having the resourcefulness to do it. And I think that was kind of what put me over the edge, because there were other fantastic candidates that year.
Resourcefulness. And that's what a concierge, the definition of concierge is being resourceful. But before we go forward, let's go back.
Yes.
Tell me about the office you're in.
You like my office?
No, I like what you said about the maps.
I know. It's like,
and where you are.
So I am in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is where my grandparents are. My mother also lives here as well too. And so I am quarantining in the computer room. And you can see these are all these maps. They're road maps from all the different road trips that they've taken over the years. My grandparents had 5 daughters. They have 5 granddaughters. It's a family full of women, which I know Anthony can understand. And yeah, so this is my office setup.
But I love that he has those roadmaps still filed and just so right there so he can look at them.
Can you tell that we are of German heritage? Yes.
Yeah, I just want to throw out there, Sarah's grandparents are in their 90s and still doing amazing. I learned that little factoid. Freaking amazing. I love that.
You're quarantining in that office for 2 weeks?
Well, no. They have the best Wi-Fi, so I come to the house and I come just in here, and then I leave the house and I'm staying at my mom's house.
Oh, okay. All right. They have that. So she's using her grandparents for the Wi-Fi. Okay.
I am. It's okay. I mean, I could be asking for more things.
But that's great. So what I want to talk about is you've obviously had a great career. So let's talk about Ask a Concierge and what that is. And then I want to kind of ask you questions about being an entrepreneur and how that started for you, and your timing couldn't have been any better.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want a little bit of a backstory of Ask a Concierge?
Yeah, what is Ask a Concierge? Tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So really the way that Ask a Concierge started was a way for me to go beyond the concierge desk. I actually started doing a vlog, so a video blog. And I was talking about things to eat, see, and do in Los Angeles. Basically what I did every day as a concierge at my desk. But now all of a sudden I was reaching so many more people, and there were so many great things about it. But I think at that time I had already been a concierge for like 12 years, or maybe not 10 years. So it was a great way to sort of reinvigorate my just my love for the profession, my love for the city. And I was now all of a sudden interacting with people all over the place. So it started off as a, video blog, and then it obviously social media just came very naturally to me. And I think with the combination of the name being Ask a Concierge, being based in Los Angeles, I immediately started getting cool sort of like partnerships with different hotel brands, and started, kind of working with different companies. And then as I traveled, I started covering destinations around the world, and now do a lot of travel videos, and have shifted so that it's not necessarily maybe just hotel focused, but more travel focused. So I do, different TV appearances talking about travel trends and tips. I find that really interesting, and I've been able to share that with individuals. And now it's also grown into a consulting company as well too. So definitely multi-prong business, one could say.
Hey, there's your website now.
That is the website.
Talking about a multi-prong business, how many hours a week would you say you work without working at the hotel as a concierge? Oh, look at that good-looking guy.
Yeah, look at that. See, we are friends. You can deny it. I'm kidding.
So how many hours do you work a week without your other job, because now you're not there anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, while I was working there, I was easily working about 40 hours, sometimes more. It's also tricky too if you're traveling. But I mean, it was even before I was making money. By the way, to be like completely honest, I mean, I've been building this brand since 2012. I probably didn't start making money until like 2017, 2018, 2017.
Right.
Okay.
And you weren't making a fortune. You were covering probably your expenses at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, it's like I would work at the hotel full time and literally be like, okay, I would take whatever cash I made and extra cash, instead of spending it on whatever frivolous things, I literally put it right into building my business. And
right.
So that's definitely the unglamorous side. Of course, it looks great. Sure, you can do a pretty picture.
So what do you do about buying new shoes?
Concierge is always resourceful. I'm kidding. I could at least buy new shoes, but
one of the things I talk about in the book I'm writing is leverage, right? And I always say you have to have a leverage scale to make the decision, right? So when you make a decision, when I made the decision to go to Hotel Impossible, my decision was made based on a 7 scale, meaning I had about 70% leverage, meaning my wife had health benefits. She had a pension. I had a little bit of money saved for my retirement. Plus, I had the FU fund that if I blew through for a year, I'm not desperate. So when I made the decision, but I had a good career. I was making a lot of money. I probably made a lot more money doing what I was doing than I was in the first few years of television. So it was and plus it was reality TV when everybody was making fun of reality TV. Yeah, that they were making that face like reality TV.
Right.
And so my decision, I could have killed my whole career, but I felt health insurance, a little bit of FU money, I'm going to make the decision. That was my leverage.
Yeah.
Your leverage, I'm going to give you your leverage factor.
Okay, tell me. Tell me.
When you started doing it, you didn't pull the Band-Aid off, right? You didn't pull the Band-Aid off. You did it very, very carefully. Like I try to tell people, put your foot in the water. Make sure you have health benefits. Make sure you save a little bit of money. Make sure this is taking traction. Make sure you're enjoying it. You don't need to jump in head first because this is your career. And if you jump in head first, guess what? Where you're going to wind up is the deep end of the pool, and it's going to be worse than where you started.
Yeah.
So I would say your leverage factor now, in my opinion, is a 10 because of the pandemic and the way you've set yourself up that if you didn't do it now, when the hell are you going to do it?
Exactly. 100%. No. And by the way, thank you for saying that because it has been, okay, I knew that I'd probably be parting ways and jumping full in this year in particular.
Right.
And even though I'm here now and literally newly here because it's really been within the past 2 weeks that I'm officially no longer employed, even under the umbrella of an idea of a furlough, I've officially taken off the training wheels. And I've always said this, is that it very much was training wheels for me in that maybe I could have, taken the leap last year, but I wanted to just be certain. And now it's gotten to the point that it's like no time like the present. I mean, I don't have a family. I don't have kids. So it's like I am, in essence, buoyant.
Well, it's interesting how, sometimes in life, things happen that we don't expect. COVID came along and, we talked a lot yesterday about my career journey and what COVID has done for that and finding positives out of negatives. It sounds to me that this also served for you as a swift kick to make a change, not necessarily one that you wanted to just yet, but now you've fully embraced it and realized circumstances are changing. Now is the time for you to take control of your life instead of being in that mushy middle.
Absolutely. And, it also, I have to say, right around the start of this is because traditionally speaking, as far as the content that I would normally make would be travel content. I would go places, I would do coverage. Yes. And I would certainly have more of a hospitality spin on it and highlight that aspect. But then, okay, wow, I'm in my living room in Los Angeles. How can I create effective and helpful content? Because for me, it's always about being helpful. We don't need another pretty girl on a beach or whatever. Those are great. Nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But it's like, I wanted to give more substance than just maybe pretty photos.
Whoever said you were a pretty girl, by the way?
No, my mom. So fine. But so really at the start of the pandemic, I was like, okay, well, how can I be effective right now? So what I did is I guess I was still active online, but I was laying low. I was just kind of doing just enough to be visible. And then I was watching what other people were doing and what they were creating and what the content was and whether they were feeding into the panic and the hysteria, which I knew I did not want to do. That's not who I am. Or if they were being super defiant, which is also not my thing as well too. To me, it's like, okay, how can you be smart? And then I was noticing, people just were talking about, I miss travel. I can't wait to travel again. And I'm like, well, that's going to be a pretty sad tune to sing over and over because the reality is we don't know how long this is going to last. And I'm talking about March, April. And so I looked and I was like, there's, aside from maybe one other person who happens to report news and is a travel editor, nobody really was sharing travel industry updates. And so for me, that's why I decided to make the shift. I was like, okay, I'll produce this at home. I know enough about cameras and setting everything up. I'll do the research, and then I'll do little snippets. So I started doing twice a week videos on what's happening in the travel industry and hospitality industry, really in an effort to sort of give ourselves a little bit of hope, and maybe looking towards other, whether it's countries or companies, to see what they're doing, and maybe it's something that we can learn from. And that for me it was personally such a game changer as well too, because it was sharing this useful information. And I know, Anthony, that you get stressed out when you know how much work it takes, but for me, it's part of my passion. And so
what I was telling Sarah before we got on air is, like, I stopped watching her videos from her living room because it was stressing me out, because I know how much work goes into it. I can't even get my lighting here on a daily basis. But it's really a tribute that you shifted, not totally, but you said something, Glenn, I want to go back to. You said that you were kind of in the middle, and they kind of pushed you. I disagree with that. She wasn't in the middle. She was out the door. I mean, she had one foot out the door. Everybody knew she had one foot out the door. Everybody was watching her career. But and I also want to say something about that team and that general manager, and that allowing you to do that. It wasn't like you were hiding it. It wasn't like, it was like they were in full support of you. And as I understand it, I think
correct.
So I want to say that, because that's a good boss. You don't want to hold people back. You want to push people forward. This
is true. And actually, thank you for bringing that up, because I do want to say that was actually one of the reasons why I stayed at that property so long. I was at the London West Hollywood, and I was there for 8.5 years. And why was I there? Because they let me be me. They knew, and it obviously took some years for them they trust me, because they saw the content, but they would let me film there. And then as I started filming and working with other hotels, luckily for me, it's more of a boutique hotel. And they were just like, so long as it's not in our city and in our comp set, go for it. And so because they were so supportive all the way along, that's why I ended up staying there for so long. And moving on was always going to be a sad thing, because it was so much of my family, like the connections that I have, the friends, it was very much a part of my identity, even within the city, even as my brand was growing. So thank you for bringing that up, Anthony, because that was not just
you said something very interesting there about that being part of your identity, but you have to move on in life. We can't stay in the same place too long, or else we collect dust and rot away, right? Totally. So that's always part of what you're doing all the time. So what does today look like for you? How is finally being freed from the shackles of that old life freeing you up emotionally to be able to put everything into this business now, which might have been splitting your time before? Yeah, Anthony's making a face, so I'm not sure if he agrees.
Because I don't want to put words in her mouth, so I'll let you answer that question.
Oh, well, I'm curious what you were going to say, Anthony, because you do know me pretty well.
To me, she was never shackled to a desk. She loved being a concierge. And I'm
not saying that. I'm saying having a full-time job versus being an entrepreneur.
I know, but I just want to make everybody understand, from knowing Sarah, that she loved and appreciated her job, and it was just a natural transition, because at the end of the day, she was born to be an entrepreneur. And one of the things that's interesting too is, and maybe you can answer the second after you answer Glenn's question, and don't ask me what the question was when you forget it, because I'm going to forget it.
Okay.
I've already forgotten.
I know how this works.
I already forgot it. How many people on a weekly basis or a monthly basis say, God, I wish I had your life. God, I wish I did what you did. God, I wish I had to, to do what you do. God, that looks like so much fun. How often does that happen?
I had 4 people just this morning say they wish they had your life.
Wow, that's impressive, Glenn. Wow, there you go. We'll brush your shoulders for you. Okay, so to answer Anthony, and then to answer Glenn. So, it depends. It really sort of depends on what's going on or what I happen to be doing. I have to say is whenever anybody, and I do look at all of my messages, whenever anybody reaches out to say, wow, kudos to you. I love what you're doing. Or I just discovered you. I love your content. I make a point to respond to every single one of those things because it really is a labor of love. It is ups and downs and this, and there are definitely times where I'm like, what am I doing? I'm staying up till 2 a.m. This is crazy. Or I'm like, I can't be on camera today because I look like a wreck because I'm editing furiously or doing something. So there are definitely not glamorous moments to it, but it is this labor of love. And when people reach out and they say something, even if they reach out and ask for advice, like, hey, I'm thinking about pivoting or changing my career. Do you have any advice? I always take the time to answer everybody because it means so much. And I get it. And it's like, especially right now, we're all in this interesting times together. So I don't know if I could put a number on how many people that is. It definitely varies. But I even just this morning had somebody say, I just discovered you and wow, I'm so happy that I did. I love what you're doing. So, a good number of people. And by the way, compliments are always wonderful to receive.
You know what I just thought of? Being a creative guy and being a producer, one of the things I just thought of as you were talking, I just came up with a new show for you. It's actually an old show, but a new show.
Okay.
I know that you can get down and dirty. I know that you're tough, as they say in Brooklyn, a tough broad.
Yeah.
I mean, you look like Hollywood, but you're a tough broad.
I'm a tough broad.
You're a tough broad, and that is the highest compliment.
I take it that way.
You being the new host, female host of Dirty Jobs.
Oh.
Tell me that wouldn't be unbelievable.
It would be amazing, but I'd also laugh because I am a tough broad, but then I have moments where I'm like, oh boy. But I would do it.
But that's what I'm saying. Of course you would do it. That would be the fun part of it. Anyway, all right. So if I have anything to say, you're the next host of Dirty Jobs.
All right. So you said something to me that I found very interesting. You were talking about doing all that work behind the scenes. A lot of times people perceive what you see as the final project as easy and natural, and people don't understand the full work that goes into everything behind the scenes. So I think for all the viewers out there to understand, like when you see a celebrity that suddenly comes out of nowhere and it appears as if they rocketed to stardom overnight, there's usually many, many years of hard work behind that. Anthony's life was the same way. Your life was the same way. So I wanted to put that out. Just because you're successful, you didn't come from nowhere. You put all the hard work into it.
And time. And absolutely. And that's the thing is that, especially right now with social media being at our fingertips, it's so easy for us to see this sort of polished ultimate, whether it's a photo, whether it's a video, and it does take a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears. And people are like, wow, you're so comfortable and casual on camera. And it's like, well, yay, I would hope so. I mean, my background is also film and TV. So I have had many years, in front of the camera. I also did film school. I understand how to work a camera. I know how to edit. I mean, I don't choose to edit. We like to leave that for somebody else. Right. But it's like, the basics I get. And so understanding that it's easier for me to make a sort of polished piece. But that being said, is that sometimes it takes 20 takes. Sometimes I do it in one take.
That's right.
But you only see the best takes.
You know what? But yeah, we do see the best takes. But I would say that and this is a compliment, you're less polished than you used to be. Meaning before it was so polished, it wasn't as, for me,
relatable.
It wasn't as relatable. That's a good word to say. You have gotten so much more natural. So that may be your best take, but it's not overly polished. It is just your best take.
Yeah.
And, whereas I don't like redoing anything. The most I'll ever do is maybe 2 takes, maybe. And that's like going way out of the way. I mean, I did classes for Cornell, and we did, I think, 40 videos. And wow. I think it took me 6 hours with one retake of one little video. I mean, it usually takes them weeks. So yeah. The reason I make sure I hit it the first time is because I hate retaking. So that would be a good meme. But really, it says a lot about how professional you are. And you really are, to me, and that's one of the reasons that we want to have you on the show, is it's not about being a concierge. It's not about travel. It's not about being in a hotel. I'm dealing with the whole thing with my children right now. I see it, they're at the beginning of their careers during a pandemic. My daughter's in theater. She's figuring her way through it. And you have a positive attitude, but you do the work to back it up. I hate people that have a positive attitude. You say, it'll get better one day. No, it won't if you don't take the step to make it better. You know, how many
Yeah.
people have said, I wish I had your idea of Hotel Impossible. Guess what? I did it first. Okay. Yeah. Not you couldn't do it. I'm not saying that I'm the best at it, but guess what? I took the step. And that's, this is like the perfect time for you to step out and to really present yourself to the world. And those videos, how are those videos, those 2 times a week videos doing? I mean, it blew you up?
It's definitely helped. And the engagement, it's taken things really to the next level. But it's also, I think as well too, is what is my brand? What is Ask a Concierge? It's also an extension of me. So it is very much a personal brand, which, by the way, I'll never forget, Anthony, when you first discovered me, actually, as in came across me on Instagram, you were like, okay, yeah, she's polished. She speaks well. And then you started watching my stories and you were like, wow, she's a complete goofball. And that really stuck with me because all of a sudden, again, you could see a little bit more of the behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the more you show of that and the more you show like the outtakes, I would love to see your outtakes.
Oh, my outtakes are hard. Well, first of all, I curse like a sailor. So
do you ever play your outtakes?
I should go through them more because I definitely have outtakes.
No, but did you ever play them? Did you ever put them out?
No, I don't. I've actually cried before doing.
I would do my top 10 outtakes.
Okay.
Put them out there and have somebody edit them for you. Listen, if they took the top, first of all, they couldn't find top 10 outtakes of Hotel Impossible because there's 100, top 10, 100, top 10, top 100. Like we said, if we ever put the outtakes out of Hotel Impossible, 2 things would happen. One, I would owe the F-Jaw a lot of money. And number 2, it would be like ridiculousness. You know that show? Like I can do like 5 seasons of that show on our outtakes because I'm an idiot. And like I've been on the show, I was on the show 9 seasons. I still walked into cameras. My favorite thing was after the director gave me some direction of which way to walk, going through that door for the thing. And I go, okay, got it. And then I turned to him and go, where are we going? Like, but they expected it. Like, I am a complete moron. And they make me look so polished and so sharp and so smart, which I think I'm pretty good at running hotels. But like the outtakes is what's fun. And the more of that I see of you, the more that it makes it relatable. Because one of the things that I've learned is like when I get up on stage, and I say, hey, we I didn't grow up with a suit and whatever. It's like we weren't. I wouldn't say we had stages of poor, right? We were on welfare, food stamps, all that. But I always mention that because it's relatable to people. So I love those out. I love that part of you because I know that's why I said you're a tough broad because you're a goofy person. That's tough, but you can also be this polished, newscaster if you have to be.
Yeah, no, and you also brought up an interesting point earlier as far as talking about just being positive. And I know that definitely a lot of what I share is positive. And that's not to say that I don't get mad. It's not to say that I don't curse. It's not to say that I'm not annoyed with people. But the way I see it, and especially what how I look at social media is there's so much negativity out there. There's so much. And I'm like, why on earth would I need to share that with people? Yes, it might be relatable, but it's like, if you can kind of have a positive outlook on something and you just work your way through it. And to me, I'd much rather share a difficult situation on the other side and say, this is how I worked through it than maybe necessarily.
I just want to see the funny. I don't care about
there's a lot of funny.
I just want to see the funny. But, I also want to say something because I was just sitting here talking to you. It made me realize, you have access where you work. I have access in the things I do. Because of Glenn, I know a lot more people than I did before this show. He has access. The one thing you never did, like we help each other and we support each other, but the one thing you never did, you never called me for a favor. And you've never, and you can always call me for a favor. I'm not saying for that, but with all the what you're trying to do, right, is I have access to a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And you've never once called me and said, do you know this person? Hey, do you know anybody at this channel? Do you know a good producer? You never once called me and asked me that. And why is that?
Probably should.
Why is that? No, I admire her because she's going a lot further. Listen, she got more Instagram followers than I'll ever have. But no, she's going a lot further and she's taking off and she never once called me for that specific reason.
Interesting. That's funny. It's funny that you bring that up just because I'm not a big fan of asking of favors. It's one thing if it comes up organically in a conversation. Let's say you and I are talking, whatever the case is, and you're like, oh, hey, this would be great. I should introduce you to so-and-so. Oh, that would be great. Perfect timing. Perfect. But as far as asking for favors, I've always had a hard time with that just because it's not, I should ask for more favors, especially because I do have some wonderful friends. And we certainly know that if I ask for a favor, I'm definitely going to do the work to back it up. I think I have a lot of people that ask me for favors. Oh, hey, I haven't talked to you in 2 years. Can you help me do X, Y, Z? And I'm like, yeah, you haven't talked to me in 2 years. What on earth? So I know how it rubs me the wrong way. And I would never, ever, ever want to be lumped into that category. But I will say that favors are not a bad thing. And that is something that I should get better at.
And thank you for saying that, because I'm trying to teach my children that I wouldn't even say it's a favor. It's a door opener. Glenn has opened up a lot of doors for me. Hopefully I've opened some for him, and it's about door opening. But what you do when you work through that door is about you, right? Yeah. Like if you ask me for something, say, hey, can you open that door for me? I put my full name behind you simply because there's nobody going to work harder than you. And so that's interesting. That's interesting that you just have difficulty with that, but you're still able, because you just dig down, you keep doing it, you're still successful.
I think we all feel that way. It's really hard to ask people for advice, assistance, help, or maybe not you. I'm talking the colloquial we out there. But I think when you do that, it actually helps that other person invest in you. They care more. They want to see you be successful. And I think it's very helpful. I mean, I don't mind asking people for things, and people ask me for things, and I think it all kind of works out in the end. I think we all need to help each other.
Remember before we had Google Maps and we would ask people for directions?
Yeah.
How excited were people when you asked them for directions? Or somebody asked you for directions, unless you're maybe in Brooklyn at rush hour, maybe they're not so happy. But remember when you used to pull into a gas station, you asked the old lady on the corner, hey, do you know where that means? They would spend 27 minutes trying to tell you where everything is. People want to help. They want to know how to help. And if you tell them, I need this kind of help, and they like you, like I am a big, 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 big believer in ask me. I'll say no, or I'll help you. And I will open that door for you, or I won't. But it's up to me. But I won't. I will get a little annoyed when you haven't spoken to me in 3 years. We haven't spoken to me in a year. Right. All of a sudden, the first thing you lead with is, and I have one person from back in my life that I wasn't really that close to, but I was close to their family. And I will just tell you, they start every DM with the favor. They don't even say hello.
Oh, I have people like that too.
And I helped them the first time, and now I refuse to help them under any circumstances. It's
I think
at least kiss me before you.
I know there's a reason why foreplay exists. It's to get people all excited about doing additional things. Right?
I was the one that made that foreplay joke. Well said.
Yeah.
So Sarah, Anthony, do you want to ask something else?
Right. So let's kind of mix it up just a little bit.
Sure.
What's the state of the concierge? That's a tough question.
And spooky, because I was about to ask the same thing. So
no, good. It is a tough question. I mean, here's the thing. The reality of it is we are seeing a lot of concierge lose their position. And I mean, as a business perspective, as a business decision, if you are running a hotel, you can somewhat understand depending on the property, just because I can even look at hotels that I know that were traditionally running at a 95 plus occupancy, and maybe they're at a 10% or 20%. And if they can only bring back certain people, the concierge is not going to necessarily be on the top part of the list. So we are seeing definitely a lot of hotels make the point to not bring back concierge, or on the flip side, bring them back and have them basically also do front desk duties, so that it's a two-for deal. And then but I will say that in the higher end properties, like the peninsulas, certain like Ritz-Carltons, properties like that, they will always need a concierge because of that clientele. So we are definitely going to see a big decrease in number of hotel concierge in the short term. But then I do see that I think the role will come back, hopefully, to what it was. I don't know if one can actually say it'll come back in full fervor, or for the full amount, but people are also craving that connectivity and are appreciating that special, that local insider touch. So I think it's not gone forever, but we're definitely going to see its change.
And I think that there's two things I want to say there. One, that clientele, when you're paying $1,500 for a room, that concierge is $1,000 of that room night, because the room is the room is the room. You went to Cabo, you stayed in a beautiful room. Guess what? I went to Cabo, I stayed in a beautiful room. Different room, but same kind of quality, right?
Oh, yeah.
I go to New York City, if I stay in a 5-star hotel and you stay in a 5-star hotel, it's the same crap.
Really?
Nice linen. It's a nice bathroom. I've seen so many nice bathrooms, I can't tell one from another sometimes, right? Unless you go to like the Nomad or something like that, that's really different. So that $1,000 difference to me is that personalized
service. 100%.
Right.
100%. And even if that you say this is that when I was just in Mexico, I was staying at Pueblo Bonito, was one of the properties. It's an all-inclusive resort, and we had a butler assigned to us. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, what I need a butler for? Right. But I was very appreciative for Leopoldo, and he was great, and he was there, and he met us and like escorted us to dinner and back, and we had and don't get me wrong, the property was beautiful. Everything was delivered so well. They were very clean and on top of their game in regards to their cleanliness standards and their care program that they're offering. But really what made the difference was the service. And it was Leopoldo. And I was like, I'm coming back to say hey to him the next time I come back. So
you know what? And if I was going to change, let's say I for financial reasons, I had to make a concierge in the front desk the same, I would call that person a concierge. I would use the front desk title and say, "Oh, let me check you in with the concierge."
Yes,
that elevates the hotel. It elevates the position as opposed to me. Listen, there's no hit on a front desk agent, or I was no time, but it's like talking to a sergeant or talking to a general. It's just two different things. The general has a lot more responsibility and has to think a lot more as an entrepreneur. And the front desk person has got to make sure that you're happy and get your key or whatever. Again, not taking away from them, but it's just two different heads. So I would actually make that one position called the concierge.
Yeah. And we are seeing a lot of hotels that are doing that. So,
it wasn't just my idea. I'm not that smart.
No, it was your idea. They stole it from your brain, Anthony.
I'm going to ask Glenn, if you have a question. If not,
I do. No, okay. I got a question. I'm going to tie it into the one we have here. So we all know that technology has affected the role of the concierge in some ways positively and in others negatively, with people feeling they could just go to Yelp whatsoever. But that was more of a Gen X baby boomer type of thing. Those digital immigrants. Now, Generation Z is coming to the fore, and they're digital natives. They perceive things differently. So it's not just a technology issue. It's becoming more of a cultural issue, the way we interact with technology. So Del Ross asks, love to hear about the future of the concierge. Will the Gen Z even think about using them? And that's what I mean about the cultural aspect of it. They're so inculcated into being on their phone all of the times. Would it even occur to them to understand the value that concierges bring? So if you could wrap all of that up into a quick answer.
As Zara answers the question, she has this best, most beautiful, like resting face. She's smiling. She's looking at you. I just look at you like I'm about to murder you. I'm just sitting there going,
always.
And as I'm doing that, I'm like, I have the worst resting bitch face. And Sarah's sitting there and with this beautiful smile, engaging you. And I'm just sitting there going, can you shut up already?
Oh, stop.
I'm just kidding.
Oh gosh.
Go
Okay.
ahead,
So no, that's actually a really great point. And it's something that I've even addressed many times, is that is the reality of the world that we're living in. Not only is it Gen Z, but I mean, certainly millennials, and I'm right there on the cusp. I consider myself a millennial. Depends on what timeline you want to look at. But I am on my phone all the time, and I'm very resourceful on it. And that being said, that's why I think as a true professional, it's almost our job to educate those travelers. So that's where you work well with, whether it would be like the front desk, it's, oh, you should go speak to the concierge. And then anytime a concierge has a chance to interact with a guest, especially a younger guest that would be like, oh, well, I was just going to look it up on Yelp. Oh,
Right.
let me help you with that. You, as a hospitality professional, as a concierge, if you do a great job for them, if you wow those individuals, you have basically trained them and taught them to know that, oh, wow, we can actually go to the concierge, and the concierge is useful and is helpful. Now, that being said, efficiency is extremely important, because if somebody's like, I can just Google it, you need to, what's the special sauce that makes it different than just Googling it? You do have to have the speed, but then it's the wow factor, the additional thing that makes it just a little bit more personal than just looking up a restaurant and going to it. It's like, oh, suggesting a restaurant, maybe they bring out an appetizer on behalf of the concierge, maybe they do a special corner table, something that just, it can be minor, but can just really take it to the next level. And so what I would always say for concierge that we're like talking about, they're nervous about technology and what about this? And it's like, it is every day that you come to work, it is your responsibility to do a stellar job. Not only is it for you and your integrity, and because you're representing yourself, not only are you representing the hotel, that's obvious, but you're representing the profession. And every time you make a memorable moment with a concierge or with a guest, they will go on to the next place that they travel to. And they're like, oh, I remember the concierge at this hotel. They were great. I'll talk to the concierge here. Or they tell their friend, hey, the next time you're in XYZ city, I stayed here. The concierge was amazing. You have to talk to them. So it's really, I think, the onus is on the concierge to make themselves relevant and train these guests.
The word you used was profession, because like, as a front desk clerk or general manager, like the hospitality industry is my profession. Concierge is your profession. And I love that. But you said something about secret sauce. I'll tell you from my perspective, what the secret sauce is. Sauce is. It's called access. Because you can get information and you can get knowledge, but you can't get access on the internet. Okay. Unless you sit there and have to ring into that, whatever to get that prize. But you give access. If I go to a 5-star hotel, and I'm a really good guest if I'm a 3-star hotel, 4-star hotel, or 5-star hotel, because I know where I'm at, so I act accordingly. Okay. And my least favorite hotel, and star rating is a 4-star hotel. It's my least favorite. I love 5-star hotels, and I'll tell you why. Because 3-star hotels, you know what you're getting. 4-star hotels have their foot. They think they're 5-star, but they're trying to save like a 3-star. So to me, 5-star hotel or 3-star hotel, I really try to stay out of 4-star hotels. But anyway, that's just my opinion. First time I've actually said that. But the access, if I'm in the 5-star hotel, now I'm going to act like a 5-star guest. I ain't doing crap. Okay. I am going to ask you. I would like I would literally. I've done this many times. I go to the front. I go to the concierge and go, I'd like a cheeseburger, medium rare, with a Coke, please. In my room in about an hour. Is that cool? I'm going out for a run. I go out for runs, but I'm going out for a run. Can I have that? If you say call the front desk or call room service, like I'm never going back to that hotel. It's like take the order. Take the damn order. And a good concierge. If you're in a 4-star hotel with a concierge, not saying a lot of 4-star hotels are great. You've worked at a 4-star hotel. They're great hotels, great concierges. But sometimes, even a 5-star hotel, they'll say, "Oh, I one of the 4 Seasons, I asked to make a spa appointment. I think I told you about this, and I had to go to 27 places to get my niece a spa appointment."
Oh gosh!
So to me, access. I want Super Bowl tickets. I want to eat at Jean Georges. And I want a Broadway play of say, I don't know, Dear Evan Hansen, front row at 8:00. As long as I got a black card, you're getting it for me.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. But, and so aside from access, because I do agree with you on access, it is also, there's an element of thoughtfulness. So it's that thoughtfulness and that surprise. So, okay, you and I have talked about that, you want that cheeseburger and you want it medium rare, whatever. And then you come back and guess what? you have that cheeseburger in your room. It's like, remember the last time you were here? I remember that you love that cheeseburger medium rare. It's in your, whether you eat it or not is not even the point. It's the fact that we drew upon something that was so specific and unique to you, and that will make you come back.
That happened to me and Glenn at Garden City. Remember, Glenn? When we sit down, they know our drink. And then I was having breakfast with them one day, and they brought me, I can't remember, I maybe it was my crispy bacon or something. Or, and then at the Nomad, every time I sit down, every time I walk into that hotel, there is a carrot juice before my butt gets in that seat. There is a carrot juice in front of me.
I love that.
And it doesn't matter. It's not always the same waiter. I don't know if they have it in the database. Give that guy carrot juice every time he steps in. And even if I'm not in the mood, I will drink that carrot juice.
Of course. Of course.
Well, you have to. They've gone to all that fuss, right?
Exactly.
So, Sarah, we're at the end of our hour. So any final words of inspiration, both on what you've done, what you've accomplished, and how people could set the path in their lives to find better success?
Great. I mean, that's a loaded question to end with, but I really think is that, and I know Anthony and I have talked about this extensively, and I know Anthony is very passionate about it, but it's the never underestimate the power of your personal brand, because if you do that, you can then end up you can go anywhere. And that comes with you. And in times of hardship or in times where you feel like the rug is pulled out underneath you, you've got yourself. Even as we had mentioned earlier, how I said that I felt so much of where I had been working before was so much of my identity. But really, at the end of the day, this has become my identity. And no matter where I go, this is coming with me. Maybe the house looks different or the four walls look different. But if you know what you bring with you, you'll be able to navigate everything that comes your way. And I think now more than ever is a time where we really need to tap into and dig into what are we bringing to the table and just accentuate that.
You know what? If I was in church, I would say amen. And you're a truth teller. You're a truth teller. And that is probably the best advice we've heard on the show in a long, long time. And the best advice somebody can hear. And I've seen it in my career with people that have done shows that wasn't their identity, and they did a good job and they made a lot of money, but it's not their identity. The thing that you do, the thing I do, and the thing that Glenn does is this is who we are. I mean, when I sit down and have a glass of wine with you, you're the same person. Yeah. And you don't have to listen. We can bring it up or we can bring it down, right?
That's right.
So I listen, you want to put me, on CNN tonight at 9:00 and talk about the seriousness of the hotel business? I'm going to nail it. You want to put me on today's show and talk about, champagne and, 5-star hotels? I'll nail that too. And if you want to bring me out and you want to put me on, and go Brooklyn, I'll go Brooklyn. But that's all part of my personality. It's when you're not that Brooklyn guy or you're not that 5-star guy, that's when it gets difficult. And you've been so true to your brand and building your personal brand, no one's done it better. And I want to say to Rupesh, he has done a great job in bringing you on because he understands how powerful and important you are and how big you're going to become. And that to ask you, we're an idiots for not asking you. And I would never insult him by asking you to do it on a regular basis. But I give him a lot of credit for doing that. And, even though we're cooler, whatever.
Oh, Anthony.
Well, it's our fault for allowing Rupesh to get to her.
I love the fact, however you guys worked out that deal. But again, Sarah could have easily called me up and said 6 months ago, hey, would you mind if I came on and gave you travel updates every week, on Thursday, right at the end of the show? Would you mind me doing that? How quick would I have been on that? I'd be like, Glenn, guess what we're doing? Are you cool with that? Yeah, I'm cool with that. Done. Yeah. But however you guys made a deal, and I appreciate, not that he's a competitor in any way, shape, or form. We help each other, but I love that. I love that kind of just everybody helping each other. One of the things I learned from Joe Rogan and listening to his podcast is, man, he helps people. And one of the things he said about comedians, right? He's like, some people's like, oh, you're in this group of comedians out in LA and you can't get in. And he goes, yeah, you can get in. And it doesn't matter your background. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, yellow, handicap. It doesn't matter. Just be funny. Yeah. Right? That's the way you get in. Just be funny. And shout out to my friend Kalindra, who got me tickets to see Joe Rogan right before the pandemic and probably one of his last performances ever. So Kalindra, thank you so much for We watched Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz, and I've always wanted to see them live, and it was a lot of fun. I was at the Comedy Store, and and that's what LA is, and she's a concierge too. That's what she's about.
Well, and a dear friend. She's amazing. So shout out to Kalindra.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Sarah, shameless plug time. Give it your best.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's show. But if you want to find out more, you can go to my website, which is askaconcierge.tv. And you can also find me on social media everywhere at Ask a Concierge, or even connect with me on LinkedIn at Sarah Dandashy.
Okay, I have to go too because I have an appointment 1:15. But there's two things I want to do before we go. It'll take 2 seconds, right?
Okay.
A little bit long. I want you to go and reach and grab one map and tell me where it was. Just one.
Wait, but now you're going to see my shorts.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's behind the scenes. Yes.
Okay.
Randomly.
Just grab one. Okay, that's behind the scenes. I love that. All right,
I know. You made me show my shorts.
Los Angeles guide map, of course.
By chance.
But really. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you another question.
Okay.
In 2 minutes, and I'll do the same. A story you can tell, because there's stories we can't tell, because we're hotel people. We don't tell stories out of school.
Not every story.
Tell me your favorite celebrity story.
Ooh, favorite celebrity
And
story.
if you need to think about it, I can tell you mine real quick.
Okay, fine. I'm not going to say the name of the individual.
Go ahead.
Oh gosh, wait, no, hold on. Oh god, I'm trying to think. No, wait, this might be too blue. Oh gosh, I don't know. Now I don't know if I can say it. Basically, somebody that was staying at the it doesn't matter what hotel, because I'm not even going to say that. But they oh gosh, this is bad.
Okay, all right, good.
It doesn't matter.
I just proved to myself that you're so discreet, it would be almost impossible for you to tell the story.
I can't. And by
And that's
the way,
what's great
this
about
person-
concierges.
that person even has gotten in trouble for their actions, and so nothing that I would share would be would be a surprise.
All right,
But
well, I'll tell you a story. Well, I have a Donald Trump story that I'll never tell because you won't be surprised. But anyway, quick story. Steve, did I ever tell this on the show? Stevie Wonder, we opened up the restaurant for him late at night, and he played a song for me, Mr. and Mrs. Little One, in the Oak Room. And that was the kindest thing anyone has ever done. And it wasn't like he saw me have to fight with everybody to get it open, which I had to, but he didn't know. And I got it open after dark and with the union. And he was just so generous. And he asked me to walk him to the piano, and he played Mr. and Mrs. Little One. So 99% of the celebrities that we have met and engaged with are wonderful and beautiful people, aren't they?
they are. I actually told Arnold Schwarzenegger he couldn't smoke his cigar when I was 19 years old, like a little bossy girl. That's it. That's
you told him you couldn't. So tell me what you did.
I went up to him. I was like, "You can't smoke your cigar here," and he was like, "Oh, okay." And then he put it out because I don't think he was expecting anybody to tell him to not smoke. And I'm like, "You can't smoke your cigar here."
I'm sure you said it a lot nicer than that.
Of course I did.
I love that. Oh, and by the way, Sylvester Stallone is short.
Oh, wow. And you're saying that.
Yes.
Impressive. Good times. Good times.
See what I mean? There's so much more to her.
All right, we got to wrap this.
Okay.
I will say he's not as short as me, but he's short.
Noted.
All right, well, we're short on time. So, Sarah, thank you so much for being here. You're an absolute delight today. Thank you.
I owe you one, Sarah. I owe you one.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, my goodness. That was freaking
come back. I love that. That
was freaking awesome. I really love when you
and her guys do a show together.
I love when you get a good burn over there. All right. So don't forget, Side Up Circ Plus/clean. We want to see you there. Wednesday, 2 p.m. You're going to have your minds blown.
You know what?
Away.
I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I'm going to show the product anyway. No, I'm not. I just got somebody very, very nervous.
Such a tease.
September 16th. But it's not going to be on our regular show. It's going to be on our 2:00 show.
That's right. Please go register for that event. It's essential that you guys
We'll
go
be
register for that event. We're going to be on location that day. I'm really looking forward to being on location again. And also tomorrow we've got back the CEO of Remington Hotels, Mr. Sloan Dean, joining us. Really looking forward to having him back. If you recall, he was with us on very early during the initial stages of the pandemic crisis, and he was facing a lot of challenges and had just laid off thousands of people. So we're going to get an update from Sloan about what's going on. And then next week on Monday, we're dedicating Tuesday rather, we're dedicating the full hour to NABHood and their annual conference. We've had Andy Ingram on a couple of times before. So what we're going to do is we're going to have him on and have a bunch of different folks coming on through that hour. It's also going to be broadcast simultaneously to the NABHood virtual event as well as right here on our typical channel.
You know what I love about the show? This is where I get all my information from.
Yeah, man. And look, we're even doing other conferences now for people. Hey, if you want to know hospitality information, this is your place for hospitality information. Also, check out, I've started doing No Vacancy News Today again, a few times a week. So please check that out on all of our pages that we have. No Vacancy News stuff.
Let's plug Rupesh's show. What's Rupesh's show? How do you
check Rupe's show on LinkedIn, 9:30 a.m. on Wednesdays. Follow Rupesh Patel to get a live notice for that. And check out Sarah Dandashy every single week on that show in perpetuity, I hope, because she was such a wonderful rock star. Anthony, another great show today. Looking forward to tomorrow's show as well, but time for us to go.
Can you sing True Rockstar?
Can I sing what?
True Rockstar. You just said Rockstar. Remember the True Rockstar?
I don't think I can. Nobody wants to hear me sing. That would be a very sad way to end this particular show. All right.
Back and forth.
Yeah, I have no idea. He's a little bit nervous. I want to thank you guys for being here. What a great show this has been. Remember, all, you've got one life, so blaze on and